welcome to Unscripted. I'm your host, Matt Haggard, and today we are here at City Hall as I follow the mayor, Chuck Fewell, for a day in the life of the mayor. Check it out.
What we're going to talk about. Now you can inject under miscellaneous business or something that wouldn't be on this agenda if we allow it to be placed there. So like tonight, we always start with the invocation, and then one of the councilmen does it, pledge of allegiance. I call the meeting to order, and we have the roll call from the clerk treasurer. Then we approve the minutes from the last meeting, and then I'll ask if there's any reports of commissions, boards. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. We have no unfinished business, but under news, we start out on when they go on the website, they can't distinguish what you're trying to say. Right. So we're getting all new audio, visual, and everything. Plus, they'll be able to go on the web the night of the meeting and do that 5 in districts. We have 5 council districts, and we have 2 at large. The 2 at large councilmen run citywide. The 5 in their district runs just in that district only. And so District 1, that person runs just as a candidate in that region. So we have 12 precincts for elected officials in Greenfield. And so when I run, it's city limits is your boundaries. You know, of course, we have sheriff's race coming up, you know, and judges. They run countywide. Your county council runs countywide. City people vote for them because they still control. You know, when you live in the county, you pay a county tax. If you live in the city of Greenfield, you pay a county tax and a city tax. And the city tax comes because we collect money, of course, through property tax, through other stuff, but it's also city amenities. So what county doesn't get is our policemen. Center Township does get our fire department because we're a fire territory, so we have all of Center Township. But we have agreements with other townships like Brown, Green, you know, those townships. We do an agreement with them for I think it's EMS is the only thing we do with them. But if a fire takes place in those, our fire department is going to respond to help because it's a mutual aid type situation. When we had the fire down here at Mueller's Body Shop, I think there was, Beth, 5 departments maybe that responded. Probably. I think it was Greenfield, Sugar,
total, yeah. Charlottesville, Green Township,
Charlottesville, whoever has but they wanted to help you because. As you've seen down there, that was a catastrophe of a business that had been there for years. It's coming back, and the fire department did a whale of a job. That could have very easily burnt down the entire east end of Greenfield. They knocked it down, they got it stopped before it did a considerable amount of damage, but it didn't wipe out what could have been a chain. And you got to respect that a lot when we see our fire department.
So I'm here at the mayor's office, and I'm here with his administrative assistant, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good, I'm good, thank you. Good. So what do you do here?
Obviously my title is administrative assistant, and everybody throughout the city pretty much knows that. But one of the things that probably separates me a little differently than most administrative assistants, other than scheduling phone calls and stuff, is I try to keep as much things that we can solve out here from reaching him. He's got such a busy day, important things to discuss, important things to decide for the city, that any problem solving, whether it's residents needing permits, having problems with dogs, neighbors, or anything like that, if I can deflect every time they come in and want to see him, if I can get them in the proper direction, that probably frees up anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day for him.
Right.
So problem solving is probably one of the biggest things that I'll do for him in a day.
So how long have you been here?
I've been here, this is my 6th year.
6th year?
That's correct.
So you're here with Mayor Pasco. Right?
That is correct. In fact, I worked with Mayor Pasco over at Dellon Automotive.
Oh.
That's how him and I met, became good friends, and we continued that here. And then, of course, unfortunately, he passed away after 2 years.
Right.
And then that's how I met Mayor Fewell when he won the special caucus.
Yeah.
So, and I was very fortunate that he kept me, but
right.
But we've had a good working relationship, and it's really worked out well for both of us.
So, what was it like? I mean, obviously, the transition between Mayor Pasco and Mayor Fewell was different because of his death. But how was it? What was it like for you transitioning from one mayor to the next?
I had not met Mayor Fewell, but just one time. He had come in and spoke to Mayor Pasco at the time, just briefly. That was the first time I ever met him. And then with Mayor Pasco's passing, you know, all of a sudden they did the caucus, the special caucus. Mayor Fewell was elected, took the oath of office, and we started. Mayor Pasco was pretty big as far as saving money, which I see the point in that, but it also stymies growth a little bit, whereas Mayor Fewell was more interested in growth, not only for the city, but for the other departments with new equipment and things like that.
In the mornings, either he or the chief, and we have the chief of police, the deputy chief, and then we have our command staff. But Matt's the assistant chief, and they'll come over in the mornings and kind of brief you on what took place during the night. And mainly it's done for a couple of reasons. One, I need to know. But two, people ask a lot out in the citizens, you know, what's going on, and I should know. So they are very good about briefing me. The fire department does that too. Jimmy will come over and brief you in the mornings. Knew Mike real well when he was governor. And I told you before, the picture up there on Generations is my dad, me, and my son, who's a policeman. And so we have 3 generations of law enforcement in our family. The other one, the Boy Scouts, I helped them a lot with a message and with a breakfast or lunch we had with them, and became quite involved with them. I enjoy going to the Court of Honors for the Scouts. I've been to 5 Eagle Scout presentations, invited to them, and been a participant in those. It's kind because Eagle Scouts, you know, that's a lot of work. If you ever read about it and see what they have to go through, it's quite a massive program. Right. It's just not make you an Eagle Scout. They work towards it.
Right.
And we wouldn't have some things in the city that we have if it hadn't been for the Eagle Scouts. We have a law enforcement memorial at the FOP, if you've ever been down there.
Yeah.
It's a black granite monument with, unfortunately, we have 3 names on it of officers that were killed in the line of duty, and they are on there. That was done by an Eagle Scout. We're having a new bridge built in Thornwood Park, you know, where Thornwood's at a primitive park out here. They're building a swing bridge over the creek. So that's a project by an Eagle Scout. The last one I went to was 2 weeks ago. Kind of neat. The Eagle Scout went to the church, Faith Baptist, and asked what he could do as a project for them. He built a baptismal for them. They didn't have one. So with help of other people and help of constructions, is up his plan, and he's got it done. So they now have a baptismal in the Faith Baptist Church over here. And the minister was there that day and talked about it. So those are quite worthy projects when you think about what they're doing.
Right.
So it's pretty neat. And the key to the city is because the bank here, Greenfield Bank, has a group. Their third annual was just held. And every year they set up a little facade city around a room, and they have elect a mayor. And so this Friday, the new mayor of Kidsville will be here to visit with me. And we make quite a day for her. We'll be here. She'll be here from the morning. She'll visit, kind of like what we're doing, and then she will then go to lunch. But when she shows up, she'll be able to park her people will bring her here, And so she'll have her own parking space back there with a nice sign that says Mayor Dale. She happens to be Faith Dale is her name.
Aww.
So she's an 8-year-old. And so Faith will have, or Mayor Dale, I should call her. Mayor Dale will have her own parking space, and she'll come in and visit with me. She gets to take that parking bumper, or not bumper, but sign with her when she leaves. She can put it in her bedroom if her parents will allow her to punch holes in the wall.
Right.
But we make quite a day of it with her, and she's quite an outgoing little gal. And to me, it's really great to have them involved in that. I was invited to the Kidsville Day, and I get to give a talk about what I do, and then with her coming into office. So then I invited her that morning to, and I put it to her like this. I said, you know, Mayor, I'm really glad you got elected, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, now if you'll have your people get in touch with my people, then we can set up a nice luncheon and discuss our cities. So she's coming in Friday to do all that. So it's kind of a neat civics lesson for everybody. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
The board is appointed board, and you have to have 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and we have 1 ex officio type member, which is from the school, as a non-voting entity. And you don't vote on stuff, do you?
No, Kathy can vote on stuff.
Can she vote? I thought she was a non-vote. That's on the planning.
Yeah, that's on planning.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Planning is a non-official voting. But so we have 5 members of the Parks Board, and they're appointed. And we have a good Parks Board, and we have good parks. So Ellen runs those and makes things happen for us to keep it that way. And she has a tendency to, or has a unique ability to keep our parks with like Thornwood. It's a primitive park. I suppose the other one would be primitive too.
It's passive. Yeah, there's not a lot of activity.
So she comes in, excuse me, I still got that epizootie.
Don't give it to me.
Well, my wife's sick. And Michael, that's what scared me more than anything.
Oh,
But
darn it.
she has a Parks Board meeting, and then she comes in to report and update on everything that's taking place, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what takes place in the parks. So that's why she's here today, and I thought maybe you'd like to hear what goes on with that. So she makes me a copy, and then she goes over it just to tell us what's happening in the parks. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm here at the mayor's office with the mayor, Mayor Chuck Fewell. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Great. Matt, glad to be here today with you.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for letting us come in and shadow you all today. So how long have you been mayor of Greenfield?
Actually, we're going into 5 years that I've been here.
Wow. It doesn't seem like that long, though.
No, time goes fast when you're having fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the elections are next year, right?
19, yes.
19?
Yes, for municipal. It's only municipal elections in that year.
Okay.
And it's a 4-year cycle. You're on 4-year terms.
Oh, okay.
I have 5 right now because I'll have 6 when I'm completed. Hope to be there another 4 after that, but I have 6 because I came in, if you recall, under the caucus because the mayor passed away. So I came in early.
Right. Well, but you're doing a good job, so.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No problem. So let's go back to before you were mayor.
Okay.
What did you do before?
Well, you know, Matt, I really have only had 2 professions before getting here. Now, high school, I went to course, graduated high school, and knew that I probably wasn't going to go to college immediately. So I went in the Marine Corps and was in the Marine Corps. And I knew when I got out of the Marine Corps that I wanted to be in law enforcement. So that was a chosen profession that I was leaning to and wanting to go to as a goal.
Right.
And I went that way. I went to Shelbyville, to the city police first, and knew I was going to be, at the first opportunity, trying for a state police school. But I was on the city police at Shelbyville for 4 years. And a state police school opened up. And the department I was with, I was quite honest with them. I told them that I wanted to be there, but I also told them the truth that if a school opened up for state police, I probably would apply and try to go to that. Because I didn't want them to think they're going to give me a position and a profession and train me, and then I would abandon them to go somewhere else. I was up front. They still chose to take me on their department, and I was really pleased. So I stayed 4 years. And state police school opened up. I applied for the state police and made it, and then spent the rest of my career in law enforcement in the state police arena. After the state police, I went to a group called the Heritage Group, which is about 42 different companies. It's a large company of construction, stone quarries, asphalt pavement, road building, heavy highway construction. They also have environmental cleanup company, trucking companies, etc. So it was quite a large group. And so the first couple of years, I worked on the crews, and that was a training procedure. And I knew I didn't want to stay there. That's hard work. So I knew I wanted to go to something else. So I went in their governmental affairs section. So I worked in Washington, D.C., the state of Indiana at the State House, and local governments. And I really enjoyed that. I did a lot of the lobbying on the bills for taxes, for highway taxes, for different safety issues, for all transportation issues, except on the environment side for our plants, zoning, etc. that took place. That's where I got involved in the local issues, because I worked a lot on the local side on zoning and planning, etc. for small business. So I knew that I wanted to be interested in politics. You know, that came kind of naturally. I just enjoyed it. And I knew I wanted to run for office one day, but I had chosen a direction to be in local government. And I told my wife, and I said, you know, maybe now's the time for us to look at this. And she agreed. So I had planned to run in the primary that I just had won recently. But, excuse me, I had done that telling my company that I was with, I'll be leaving in a couple years. So we had an exit plan put together for my exit. Unfortunately, Matt, my exit plan went from 2 years to 30 days because when Mayor Pasco passed away, they had the caucus, and I had to decide right then, do you want to run for the caucus? Do you want to wait to that primary you talked about? Well, this was an opportunity. And unfortunately, it came at a bittersweet opportunity. Sweet that I could do it, a bittersweet because no one wanted to lose our mayor. So fortunately, I won the caucus, and it was a good time, a good experience. And I took over as mayor with 2 years left in that term. And quite frankly, we've done some good things. We hit the ground running. We have done an excellent job, in my opinion, of getting the city balanced and putting back some things that we needed for amenities to keep young people like you interested in wanting to stay here. And we just had a good opportunity. So it was interesting to try to go through the caucus. It was interesting to run through the primary. And we've had a good opportunity because we have good department heads. We have good people with the fire department, the police departments, the street departments. That's what it takes. And it takes that team effort. It's not just me being here. I have to be a leader to show that, but I have to have people who want to be here and want to do that job to make the city safe, clean, and prosperous. So I think that answers a long-winded answer.
Oh yeah, you're fine. So you have a family.
I do.
And here, as being mayor, there's lots of events after, I'm assuming, after hours.
Absolutely.
So how do you balance work and family?
Well, I'm very fortunate. One, most of the kids are growing and have their lives, and we try to include them in certain things that might take place with this and let them know what's going on in the city. But I'm very also fortunate that I have a wife who's a school teacher, who is interested in the welfare of the city and the kids. She has just started her 41st year of teaching in Greenfield Central High School.
That's awesome.
And that's commendable, 41 years as a ski teacher. There's a lot of teachers who've done 41 years or 30 years. But what I find commendable in her style is that she's had 41 years, and all of it has been at one school.
Right.
Harris.
Yeah.
And all of it has been in one grade level, the first grade. So to me, that's kind of a record in itself. She's had 41 years, same school, same grade.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, what makes it really nice is the fact that she enjoys people. She enjoys being involved in the city issues. She enjoys going to the things that we have to attend. So and you're right, there are a lot of extra curricular things that take place, and I'm very fortunate that she enjoys doing those. Sometimes she can't do them. I go to them anyway, and that's an understanding that we have that I have to do that. You know, there's things that the city's important to me.
Right.
And I think you can ask anybody out there, they see a lot of Kristen and I out in the streets and out on the events because we want to be at those events and should be at the events because the people are out there and people have to see you. Number one, they're paying me.
Right.
So that I should be a part of the city with them.
So, what do you do in any of the free time that you have?
Any what?
Any free time that you have?
I don't know. I haven't had any since I got here. I enjoy two or three things. One, I enjoy playing some golf when I can. That's been quite limited since I've been here. Reading, I like to read every now and then if you get a chance. And so probably between the golf, and we don't travel that much, but if we do, it's nice to take a little getaway now and then to do some things, but probably golf and sporting events type things.
So you have kids, right?
We do.
How many kids do you guys have?
We have 4 growing kids. We have 3 girls and a boy. Now, the 2 girls and a boy live in Shelbyville, and I have a stepdaughter who I call mine because I've had her since she was about 8 years old, and she's a part of us, and she lives here. She lives here. We have 6 grandchildren, and of all ranges. We have 22, 23 to 14, 12. No, that's a lie. Have a new. I keep not forgetting him. We have a grandson that's 6. So we have 6 to 22.
So a big range. So definitely keeps you busy on any free time that you have with your kids and grandkids.
It does.
So how do they? What do they think of you being mayor?
Well, you know, to be candid, I think number one, they're proud that I'm in the city and being the mayor. You know, because it's something that not everybody in the world's going to do. It's something that I wanted to do, and I think they were excited because they were involved in the campaign when I ran in the primary. They got to attend some events, you know, the breakfasts and the some of the dinners and things where they enjoyed that type of atmosphere.
Right.
They had a couple of them rode in the parade, you know, so they got to wave at everybody.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting part of it.
Absolutely. So, what did you ever think you were going to be mayor way back then in the state police?
No.
No,
I knew that I probably had an inkling and wanting to be involved in politics. With the state police, I spent 7 years of that career. I spent 7 years with the governor's office. So I was assigned to the governor for the state of Indiana. Back then it was Dr. Bowen, was the governor. And I was assigned to him through the state police security. We had 7 troopers assigned to him, and we traveled with him. We went with him every place that he would. We were assigned to the residence where he lived, and we were assigned to his immediate family, which is his wife, because his kids were growing. And we traveled with him. An interesting position because you got to go to so many internal meetings that you see in the internal workings of politics, not just the glory, you know, of seeing cutting ribbons and getting my picture taken or his picture. We were there for a total purpose of security, but you still got to view the meetings that took place to plan how to run state government, the meetings to plan what was going to happen with different departments, and then you also got the limelight of being at those ribbon cuttings, at those dinners, and partaking in that. So I think it whet my appetite.
Right. It's like a VIP.
Yeah.
Type.
Yeah. So I wanted to be a part of that, and I always thought I would. I didn't have it when I met my wife and moved up here. I didn't move up here saying, "Well, I'm going to move up there because I want to be the mayor."
Mm-hmm.
I came up here because of my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and probably would not be here if it wasn't for my wife. Being honest with you, because she was the purpose that I came here and have stayed here. I loved Greenfield when I got here, though. Plus, man, I was very active in the community way prior to being here.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved here, I was on the Sheriff's Merit Board. I was on the transportation for CERTA, which is the Central Regional Transportation. I was on the Alcoholic Beverage Board. I spent 9 years with the Chamber of Commerce. So it wasn't like I just came in, and was this was my total goal.
Right.
I seen the internal workings. I seen where economic development was taking our city. I wanted to be a part of all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I planned to be involved with the thought that where could I go with this?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a plan, but not to come directly
Right.
to the mayor's office. I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we are too.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So now we're going to kind of fast forward a couple of years. You mentioned that you're going to run again.
I hope so. Yes.
And hopefully you'll get elected.
I hope so too.
Yeah. And what are your plans after? Any retirement in the future, or are you going to stay?
I'm kind of a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy going to work. I enjoy getting up in the morning and getting ready to have a goal, and to have something planned, and to have that happen. I often said, Matt, when I was with the state police or any other profession that you have, and you want to be in the reporting business when you graduate school and you go to college and you want to be a leading reporter for a network.
Yeah.
The day that you get up and you look in the mirror when you're getting ready to do that and you go, you know what? This is not fun anymore. You need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you become an injustice. You're not good for what you're doing. You can infect other people not to be as good as what you could be. And, I could come in this building we're in every day and probably see, I could infect it and have people's attitudes be terrible. Mm-hmm. That should never be a goal of anybody's. Right. And people shouldn't see, I have problems like everybody else. Not every day is hunky-dory, in the Fewell household.
Yeah.
But I don't bring it here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be able to differentiate, to separate those issues. Retirement, I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'd be satisfied. I don't think I could play golf every day.
Mm-hmm.
Not that cut out.
Yeah.
I do enjoy I enjoy working. Mm-hmm. So I really haven't thought about the future. Whatever the good Lord has in store, it'll pop in.
That's true. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for sitting down with us.
I'm glad I could do it. If you need something anytime while you're here, all you have to do is pick up your phone and let me know, and we're here.
All right, absolutely, I will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
This evening we have on the agenda the approval of the minutes. This will be for the March 14th, 2018 meeting.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Councilman McDaniel for the minutes and a second by Councilman Louder. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Also this evening I want to introduce a young man in the audience this evening that's here for a special purpose. Matt Haggard's here, and I'd like for you to stand up, Matt. Matt's from Greenfield High School. He's a junior at Greenfield.
And that is for us here on this episode of Unscripted. I want to thank you for following me along as I followed the mayor of Greenfield, Chuck Fewell, as he met with many city officials to make the city a better place to live for you and for me. Don't forget you can catch this episode on YouTube. Have a great day, everyone.